Why you guys are standing here?
Because you can't build the future on a lie.
And what do you think the lie is? Or what do you believe the lie is?
We've been lied as to how the towers fell. They didn't fall because the airplanes destroyed the upper floors.
And how did they fall?
They were exploded.
It was a controlled demolition.
It was a controlled demolition that brought down building 1, 2, and 7. Number 7 was a 50-story skyscraper, and it fell at the same speed of gravity that gravity would allow. If you'd taken all three of them did, if you'd taken a bowling ball to the top of the World Trade Towers the day before and dropped it off the top, it would hit the ground at the same speed that those buildings hit the ground. That means the bottom was cut out from all the floors as they fell. There was no resistance.
But that one wasn't hit by an airplane. It just
right.
fell.
Building 7 was not hit by an airplane.
Controlled demolition.
It just fell.
West Side got hit by the jets, so they lost the fire extinguishing system for the building. That's one of the reasons for the collapse. The steel didn't get hot enough to melt. It got hot enough to soften. Once it softens, your pressure starts to take place, and that's what's going to cause your collapse of the building. And they collapsed.
I'm sorry, sir.
The way they were engineered to collapse. They came down.
It's easy to see why you might believe that, but I don't.
Because I've listened to the engineers who built the building and what it was structurally set for.
I've listened to the engineers that built the building too, and they said that it was built to withstand, two airplane crashes.
With the fire extinguishing system intact. It wasn't intact. That's what was missing.
And there was no heat. It was a black smoke. That's an oxygen starved fire. That's a cold fire.
Which floor?
It went from a black smoke to dust.
4 floors on fire. The black smoke was from the upper part of the fire, which of course is an oxygen starved fire because
what do you mean,
the fire
of course?
Underneath it is absorbing the oxygen.
There was no heat.
Rises. So your upper floors, so 4 floors
and jet fuel is not doesn't burn. Jet fuel burns at 1,200, 1,400 degrees.
Enough to soften steel.
Where did all that molten steel that was in the basement of the Twin Towers for 3 weeks? 3 weeks, satellite imagery taken of the World Trade Center area shows intense heat in the ground, molten steel for 3 weeks. Where did that come from?
Mechanical energy
state-of-the-art explosive
of the
Department of Defense contract.
Who knew when the planes were going to hit and did it right on timing.
Well, I don't know. Let's reopen the commission.
Let's go with that.
Fall where they may. You and I disagree. We're citizens. We want to get to the bottom of this. Let's reopen the commission where the commissioners don't admit themselves that they were set up to fail. That's a direct quote.
False flag attacks have been done throughout history. Governments do this. To think that it can't happen here, you need to learn about the Federal Reserve System. You learn about that system, you'll see where all this shit stems from. Trust me on that.
And also, microspheres, that's at the micro level, not the nano level, which is very small, very high tech, but the micro size. Those are spheres of iron that was turned molten, atomized, and like any raindrop, turned spheroid. That's also in the dust.
In the bottom of a building coming down with that much force.
Then where did the heat come from?
The heat comes from the energy. You take a piece of concrete and you suspend it 110 floors in the air and you drop it. What does it come down with? Huge amounts of force and momentum. This turns into energy. It didn't move the earth sideways. It went and impacted into the earth. Now you've got your momentum, which is going to turn into the energy that's going to atomize your steel. Facts just bother people. I'll leave you be at this point. Go look into a little physics of steel and a little physics of force when something comes down from 110 stories down to 0. And when you go back and look at those buildings,
Does it get pulverized at the bottom or the top?
They get pulverized at the bottom where the energy
this all
hits.
pulverized and turned to dust. Huge cloud of dust. You saw, everybody saw it.
The dust came up as it's coming down.
And what about the Pentagon?
Yeah, what happened at the Pentagon?
The Pentagon?
Really?
Of all the videos from around that building, there's only been a 2-second clip released.
frames.
Every single video from around there was collected by the FBI. They've only shown a small frame of all the video of a plane.
So you don't believe that a plane hit the Pentagon?
I don't believe a plane hit that.
They took the evidence. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
They took the
They've
evidence.
taken all the.
Have you seen the clip? There's about a 2-second
Why
clip
would they
of
take
a plane hitting.
Personally, a plane hit both buildings. A plane hit the World Trade Center.
That's right.
And a plane hit the Pentagon.
Something
Thousands of people have died. Period. End of story.
So how could a little kerosene fire bring down buildings that they tested? They tested before they put these buildings up. They said planes would hit them, and they also said the
They
fires
were
wouldn't do
designed
it.
to withstand the impact of more
As
than
well
one
as the
plane,
fuel
of
of
numerous
plane.
planes. They were just specifically designed to withstand.
Who says?
The designers.
When they put it up,
The architects that designed that building have made statements, researched online. They have made statements saying it was specifically designed to withstand plane impact.
Well, that sounds like the cover-up that these guys didn't build their building to spec.
So there was
the plane couldn't bring it
an
down.
implosion within a building two buildings that housed thousands of people, and a plane hit it. There was an implosion and a plane hit it.
They had
With
to
the
have
two
set
buildings
up the
with thousands of
explosion.
people
They
in
had to
it,
have rigged
the
the
government
explosion.
exploded a building with thousands of people in it. That's complete and utter bullshit.
I mean, people find it hard to believe Hitler and the Nazis did what they did too, but they did it. And a lot of people sat around while it was going on.
Hitler and what happened at the World Trade Center.
There was a cover-up, and the cover-up was that our intelligence agencies are incompetent. The FBI, the NSA, the CIA messed up. That's the conspiracy.
Well, I've worked with them, and let me tell you something. They don't mess up like that.
They're incompetent, and they're government bureaucrats.
Well, still.
That's the cover-up.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
We think they knew what was going on.
Let me ask you this.
Not only that, we think that they
let me
had
ask you
something
one.
to do with
Let me
it.
ask you one.
That is the ultimate
Well, let me ask you one
conspiracy.
question, because I've been CIA operative, you follow me, a subcontractor, so I know how they think and what they do. And I did things that I thought was good for the country. I had my autonomy. I didn't have to do
Yeah, you
something.
made my
I'd have to
case.
take. Wait a minute.
That war's about money and everything. So do you think that the United States government imploded the World Trade Center so that they could set up things like the Patriot Act so they could get money so they could go to war?
Cabal, not necessarily.
It's not necessarily the government. That's why I'm saying that there's people that it's hard for people to accept that there's somebody above our government, because we have been taught that our government's the ultimate thing, that the United States. But there are people that are above the government, like the Federal Reserve, just down the street.
Well, God, I would hope that God fundamentally wants us all to find the truth, and so we're just trying to get there, and we want a commission that is not set up to fail.
Figure it out. Who did it? No. You know who did it?
No,
You
who
do it?
did it? Who did it?
Who did it?
Are you part of this or?
It's my amusement.
Oh, okay. All right. No, I haven't figured it out, because personally, to me, I don't see how two parties could want both parties could be in agreement of trying to kill innocent American lives. I don't know.
Well, who did it?
Who did it?
I have no idea.
Who did it?
Who do you think did it?
I think it was Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda did.
I think you would be there with 99.9% of the population.
Take credit for it. I mean,
Did you have a chance to be there? In 9/11 in New York?
Do you know someone who died that day?
Yes, of course.
What happened?
I'm from New York. I know what happened perfectly well. And I know how many people was killed. And I'm a journalist. Yes, of course I'm a witness. Around 3,000 people were killed. Whom? Al-Qaeda. That someone can say now it's not truth. You have to talk with that people face to face, see their eyes. And now, if someone tell me it's not truth, it's painful. You know, I don't want to argue with that people, but it's painful because a lot of people lost their sisters, brothers, lost their lives, and it's no monument yet. I'm very upset that I saw something like that around. If someone can say, is it not truth, it's very bad.